Welcome to Subramani. This is not a very original kind of stuff. I've done different videos on the thumb rules of investing. Here are some thumb rules of, or I would call them mathematical thumb rules of investing. But remember, look at the thumb. The thumb looks so different from other fingers. So thumb rules are not always to be copied without understanding what it means. These are nice rules to know for you to remember certain things, but it does not mean they are very accurate. Let us take a simple thing. There is something called rule of 72. Rule of 72 tells you that in how much time will your money be doubled. So if you are getting 8% return in a fixed deposit, 72 divided by 8 is 9. So in 9 years your money will double. So if you are getting 6% interest, obviously 72 divided by 6 is 12. In 12 years your money will double. So assuming for a minute that your bank gives you 2% interest in the savings bank account, it will take 36 years for that money to double. Now fairly obvious, if you get something like an 18% return in your equities, in 4 years your money should double. Will this happen? I don't know, but this is a rule which is nice to remember. So remember, 8% means in 9 years your money will double. In 12% interest means in 6 years your money will double. This is just approximate, because if you sit down and calculate, it may turn out to be slightly different. But this is quick to think on your feet and be able to give an answer very quickly. That is the purpose. Now, if you know that the rule of 72 is for doubling your money, it's fairly obvious that 144 is the number for you to remember. Let's call it the rule of 144, to know in how much time your money will quadruple, right? So when will it double twice, right? It's easy to guess. 72 and 144 are just double. So 144 divided by 12. So in 12, if you get 12% return in 12 years, your money will 144 divided by 12. So in 12 years your money would go up 4 times. That is rule of 144. Now we have seen rule of 2, which is doubling, and 4. So what is the rule for 3 times? That rule is 114. So it is 114 divided by the interest rate is how much time your money will take to go up 3 times. Now these are all useful things to know when you are calculating very long gestation period projects, or when you are saying in how much money, well, practically the question is, if I know in how many years the money is going to double, I can always look at it and say, okay, if I give so much money to my son or my grandson at this age, how much money will he have at the age of 60, right? So if you know that the money is going to double every, let's say 8 years, and if you give it to your 20-year-old son, right, or a 20-year-old grandson, you say, okay, here I am giving you 1 crore at the age of 20. So, so you know every 8 years it is going to double. So 28, 36, 44, 52 and 60. So 5 times it's going to double. 1 crore is going to become 2 crores, 4 crores, 8 crores, 16 crores, 32 crores, right? That is the kind of money that is going to happen, that he will have at retirement. So you think he does not require 32 crores, but he requires, let's say you say he requires 8 crores. So it's fairly obvious, even if you give him 25 lakhs, that should be enough for his retirement, provided it earns 9%, and it fits into this calculation, right? 9% without tax. If it happens, well, even if you give him 25 lakhs at the age of 20 or 25, 22, 23, that should be sufficient for him. I am not even saying anywhere near that is sufficient for his retirement. That depends on case-to-case basis. But I am just saying, so these long calculations can be made very quickly by using these thumb rules, by thinking on your feet. That brings us to another question: how much money do you require for retirement? When you're very young, maybe you're 22, 23, don't even break your head over it. Just think you need $1 million US. So if you're now 22, just think that you need $1 million US, which is about approximately 8 crores of rupees. So you target 8 crores. Don't worry about how much you exactly need. But closer to the retirement, suppose you're 55 years of age and you're spending 1 lakh per month. and you think by the time you're 60 you will be spending 2 lakhs per month, right? So 2 lakhs per month would mean you're going to be spending 24 lakhs a year. 24 divided by 30, this is the retirement rule. 30 times your annual expenses is what you will require. So we said 24 lakhs. 24 into 30 is 7 crore 20 lakhs, right? That's the kind of money that you're going to require for retirement if you are going to be spending 2 lakhs per month at the age of 60. If it is much lesser, then it's fairly obvious you have to have a lesser amount. But this is again a thumb rule. 30 times your annual expenses at the age of 60 is what you require for your retirement. Like rule of 70, there is a rule, like the rule of 72 which we saw, there is another rule called rule of 70. 70 divided by inflation rate is the time in which your money becomes half, right? So let's say India inflation is 7%, then 70 divided by 7, that is in 10 years, your 1 crore will be worth 50 lakhs. So for some vague reason you decided to leave it in your, say, attaché at home or in your locker at home, it means that the value has fallen by 5% every year. So 70 divided by 5, in 14 years your 1 crore is worth 50 lakhs or your 10 lakhs is worth 5 lakhs, right? That's what happens. So never leave your money idle, and definitely don't leave your money idle in a high inflation time. Suppose the inflation that you were looking at is say 14%. 14% means in 70 divided by 14 is 5, right? So in 5 years your money is losing half its value. So if the inflation is higher, there is greater reason for you to put money into asset classes which give you inflation beating returns. That is very important. Inflation beating returns are very important. So this rule of 70 tells you that. There's one more rule which is not, which is completely original to me, which I say is a rule for buying a house, is the 3, 20, 30, 40 rule. 3 means your cost of your house should not be more than 3 times your CTC, which people find it very difficult to believe, but that is my benchmark, saying 3 times is what it should be. 20, you should not take a loan beyond 20 years. 30% should be the EMI that you pay for all your loans, right? All car loan, home loan, personal loan, honeymoon loan, whatever it is. The total EMI that you pay should be 30% of the take home pay. So if your take home pay is 1 lakh per month, your EMI should not exceed 30%. Of course, you can make it say 35, 37%, saying, oh, now there is going to be an appraisal, my salary income will go up. Then maybe you could go up to 40%, but you have to make sure that the salary really goes up, otherwise you have to cut down on some of your expenses. So 3, 20, 30, 40. 40 is for the down payment that you make for buying a house. Suppose you're buying a house worth 1 crore, then you should make a down payment of 40 lakhs. Hold your horses. The housing finance, home finance company, mortgage company will not tell you that. They are happy if you make a 5% or a 7% down payment, and they'll say, oh sir, you're a doctor, so for you we will take 0 down payment. You should insist on a 40% down payment, simply because that means there will be lesser burden on you for while repaying, because you have committed less. So in case one person loses a job, other person, or one person, let's say a young couple have bought the house and the girl gets pregnant and it's a little difficult pregnancy and the doctor insists on bed rest, then one income completely falls. So in such cases, you will be very happy that you made the 40% down payment instead of the statutory 5% or things like that. Therefore, this is a 3, 20, 30, 40 rule, and it works in most cases. Another important rule which people quote, which I am not very particularly fond of, is 100 minus age should be the amount that you have in equity. So if I am 60 years of age, I should have only 40% in equity. Now I am myself a great exception to that. I have something like 90% in equity. So I think this rule is a little antiquated, but it still works. For many people, this still works. So if your person does not have too much of a risk-taking capacity, he's going to be retired, he doesn't have any great sources of income, then it is very useful to follow this rule. For each person, of course, it depends, asset allocation depends on various other things, but this is a good thumb rule to start with, and then justify why that person can afford to have more equity. So even if you meet a senior person who's, I mean, when I say senior, I mean a person with a lot of money, 65 years of age, it is nice to start by explaining this rule, that the law says the rule is 55%, 100 minus 55, so only about 45% of your money should be in equity. However, since you have said you have more asset, you have a lot of assets, you have nobody dependent, your wife is also earning, therefore we are increasing it by x percentage, right? For each one of that you add 2%, so you say instead of 45% in equity, we are coming to 62% in equity. You have added these numbers. At least the client knows what you are doing and why you are doing, why you are saying you can take more risk. Maybe the person needs to take risk has evaporated, then maybe you need not take risk, right? So, but yes, this is the rule of 100 minus age, which works in many cases. Thank you. There is another rule called the 15-15-15 rule, though I don't agree much. If you invest 15,000 per month for 15 years and it gives you 15% return, you will have 1 crore at the end of 15 years if you are investing 15k per month. Does it work? Well, you can always tweak it a little, saying okay, 20k per month invested for 15 years, assuming it gets 12% return, right? So 20, 12, 15 or 20, 12, 30, whatever you decide on how you want it to be. This rule can be tweaked, but it is nice to know that a 15-15-15 rule is there, which is easy to understand, remember and explain, saying 15,000 SIP for 15 years will make you a crorepati at the end of 15 years. It's easy to remember, so it's easy to talk in a class and say 15-15-15 rule. For somebody that may be saying, oh, 15% is not going to be sustained, it will only be 12, it will only be 8. The question to say, the answer to give for such things is start investing. At the end of the journey, we will find out whether you've got 1 crore, but definitely you will not have 12 lakhs, right? You will have a number very close to 1 crore. That's important. Then there is this, how much insurance do you need? Again, it depends on the person to person, how much is the husband earning, how much is the wife earning, how old are the children, have they started earning, right? All these things. But still a simple thumb rule is 10x your income, right? So you ask somebody how much insurance do you need, so he'll say 10x your income. Of course, 10x your income is not a bad answer for somebody earning say 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs at the age of 22, 23, 25. For them 10 lakhs means 10 times means 50 lakhs of insurance. That's a good thing to do. But for somebody who is say 52 years of age or 55 years of age, let's say 55-year-old husband and wife, husband is a vice president in a bank, wife is a doctor, 2 children, both have finished their education and they're not financially dependent on him or her. Parents are no longer alive, they have died. So given these circumstances, do they even need any insurance? The answer is no. But what happens if he has or she has bought a clinic and she has given a 5 crore guarantee, bank guarantee, and her net worth is only about 6 crores. So you don't want that wiped out because something going wrong. Then yes, she needs a 5 crore term insurance. It's got nothing to do with 10 times her income, right? So some of these rules like 10x your annual income or even 20x your annual income, depending on the number of dependents, etc. These are good rules for you to remember, but I remember that when you are actually implementing it, this is a good place to start saying, so the rule is 10x. However, in your case, since your wife is also working, since your daughter is also just started working and nobody is financially dependent, blah, 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 therefore you need so much insurance. However, you have a car insurance, you have a car loan and you have a home loan. So the term insurance cover that we are taking has to cover those loans, right? So you arrive at that correct answer, but you start with this answer because the end of 2 years or 3 years, the client is going to remember saying, oh yeah, I remember him saying that I need 10x my 10x my income. He may not remember why this rule is there, but he'll definitely remember the rule itself, right? Insurance is 10 times yeah. How much of emergency fund should I have? So somebody can make it for three months, somebody can have 6 months expenses, so take your pick. But largely, depending on how scared you are of life, make the big number little bigger than what you would have otherwise done. One more rule on how much of car should you buy. We also had how much of housing that you should buy, which is 30-20, 30-40 rule. Similarly, for a car, it should be 50% of your gross income or net income for the year. So if you're earning 1 lakh per month, your car should be worth 6 lakhs, right? 6x your monthly income is what your car should be worth. You should not be taking a loan for more than 4 years, and all your EMIs put together should not be more than 30%. If you don't have a car, if you don't have a housing loan or any other kind of a loan, this amount will not matter. But if you have a housing loan, if you have some other personal loans, then all put together should only be 30% or 35% at worst of your income. You can always say, oh, next year I'll get a hike and this will get taken care of. What happens if you don't get a hike? So don't use forward income just to justify whatever you're doing. This is ideal. Yes, you can wait for some time, let your salary go up, and then you can buy a better car, right? Any of these things are possible, but yes, this is the rule which says 50% of your annual income, 4-year loan, and you should use your car for at least 10 years. I would put either a your mileage limit or the number of years limit. But yes, using your cars well for 10 years is worthwhile. It's perfectly possible for you to buy a 2-year-old car and use it for next 8 years. That might even be cheaper. So just check out what suits you. But yes, this is one of the rules that we have, saying all your EMI put together should not exceed 35%. Now, if I'm a banker and not looking at the full picture, I need to understand that all my EMIs put together, one home loan from X bank, one car loan from Y bank, one housing loan from H bank, right? So if you have all this consolidated, check out whether it is whether all the EMIs put together is less than 35% of your annual income. Thank you.